Okay, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our session on leadership and involvement for new transfers. We are so excited to be speaking to you tonight about how to get involved right away at UCLA if you're looking to make the most of your time while on campus. My name is Sarah. I use she, her, and her pronouns, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Transfer Student Center. And I'm joined here by...
Hi everyone, my name is Abiha. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a first year transfer, so this is my first year here at UCLA. And I'm a political science and labor studies double major, and I also work at the Transfer Student Center with Sarah, and yeah.
And I was just teasing Abiha before this. She's exceptionally involved, so she's also going to share a little bit about some things that she is involved in, and I'm sure she'll have lots and lots of answers to your questions. But first, wanted to give a quick overview of how to get involved here at UCLA. So we're so excited to have you all join us, and I can tell you from experience, there are opportunities at all points in the year, including over the summer right before you start. And so we're going to talk a little bit about specifically those opportunities that come about earlier in the year, but also this first part will be generally about how to get involved on campus and into like leadership roles, job positions, things like that. So I made a short list for myself of what I think folks should do in order to get involved. Honestly, take it or leave it. Like, you know yourself and you know what makes you feel happy and comfortable doing things like this. But my first piece of advice is put yourself out there. As transfer students, you bring so much skill and talent to UCLA with you. Don't question it. Like, you bring so much to our campus community, even from the moment that you transfer in. And we know that you have lots of life experiences, experience from where you're transferring from, experiences from even high school and beyond. And so don't be shy, put yourself out there. You all are some of the best and brightest students on campus. And so we are really excited to welcome you. And we know that you have so much that you bring with you. So put yourself out there right away. And that can look a lot of different ways. And so my second piece of advice is know where to look. And so this might sound kind of funny, but if you know, for example, that you are pre-law, as some folks said in introductions, look for pre-law organizations, follow the law school, follow other like political science orgs or things like that on campus that might be either within your field of study or aligned with an identity or an interest that you have, so that when there are opportunities that are aligned with that interest of yours, you'll know about them right away. Because I guarantee if it's for someone who has that same interest, they're going to be putting it out there on those social media channels. I would say it seems like right now at UCLA, Instagram has kind of taken over as like the dominant social media platform of choice for student organizations and offices. Although many people are still on Facebook, which is cool, but also kind of funny. And then many people will post opportunities and announcements on websites. So it could be on their specific website if it's a campus org or department, like especially an academic org or department. And it could also be on something called Handshake if it's a job opportunity, which is a portal for you to be able to apply to jobs for, and you'll have access to as a UCLA student. So you'll want to kind of look out for these opportunities, but specifically if you know that you're really interested in something in particular, try to look for orgs or departments that have that interest and follow them on Instagram, follow or like them on Facebook so that you see those opportunities as they come up. Google is your best friend. I honestly, like 9 times out of 10, if I don't know something at UCLA, I type in UCLA and then whatever I'm looking for. So like UCLA pre-law organizations, and you'll get a whole list back. And so as you're starting to figure out what kinds of opportunities are for you at UCLA, I feel weird because I know this is being recorded and we're going to put this out here, but our website can be really challenging to navigate, like the main UCLA site. So honestly, even as someone on campus, I still Google like UCLA and then law opportunities because I'll find it faster than if I click through the website. And so that's just a hot tip of how I find things on campus. Did I miss anything so far, Biha?
No, you're so right though. Like if you're looking for like pre-law stuff, right? Literally Googling UCLA pre-law society, and like you'll start getting like a list of like Google results of just like all the different kinds, because there's not just one like main one on campus. There's like a lot of ones. There's also really cool identity-based ones too, if you're interested in that. And yeah.
I would also say like search on Instagram, on TikTok. I mean, on TikTok, you're more likely to find people's like experiences. And so like look on whatever platform is preferred for you. But I will say, do you agree most people are leaning Instagram right now as their main platform?
Personally, I have not had Facebook since like the third grade, and I'm doing perfectly fine. So I think yes, Instagram is like like a good place to be if you're looking to get involved.
I feel like orgs and departments were primarily on Facebook, and just in the last like calendar year, I see more people more heavily promoting on Instagram. So if you're going to be on one platform, if you're not a big social media person, I would go on Instagram and I would follow some departments or accounts that you're interested in. And just to stay up to date, you can even like kind of create like a fake account just to follow them and have as like a news feed sort of. Twitter does not seem to be as big on our campus, just as a heads up. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are tweeting, but it doesn't seem to be the dominant way that people are posting. 3, next section, check early and often about opportunities. So like if you're following one of those accounts, watch their story, look in their post and see, it doesn't have to be like every single day, but I would say even like once a month or every other week, just to check in on those UCLA accounts to see like what's going on, what are they promoting, what are they sharing, so that you kind of stay up to date if there's an opportunity that comes up, because very often those kinds of like, especially job opportunities, but also sometimes student leadership roles, we'll post and they'll be open for on average 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer. So you want to be checking if you're really interested in getting involved right away, like pretty often. I would also recommend though, if there's a specific office, like if you know, I really, really, really want to work in the student activities office, I wonder if they hire student interns. I don't know if they do, by the way, that's a really weird example of me. I would message them and say, hey, I'm an incoming transfer student. I'm very eager to get involved. I'm curious if you hire student staff, and if so, when you plan on doing so I can look out for the job posting. And I would just make that outreach friendly, but also like short and direct. Do not send someone a novel. I say that with all the love in the world. Just send them something clear and direct, just saying, hey, I'm starting on campus in the fall, really interested in getting involved, looking for a job. Do you think you'll be posting? I'd love to know when to be on the lookout. And if they're going to be posting something, they'll say, oh, we plan to hire in summer, we plan to hire in September, and then you kind of have a gauge. They'll usually tell you where it'll be posted to. So that can be really helpful. The 4th tip I have is go after what you want, but also be open to new possibilities. There are certain jobs or opportunities that are pretty competitive on campus. That being said, there's always going to be more opportunities. And so maybe you don't get one specific one, but if you're applying to 2 or 3, you're probably going to land one of them. And so I would also just say, like, utilize your resources. Don't be shy to ask a friend to look over your resume, cover letter, statement of interest, things like that. You might think like, oh, I should apply on my own. I mean, you totally can, but having an extra set of eyes is never going to hurt. And I would say, like, if you're thinking like, I'm going to use our office as an example. If you're saying like, oh, I really want to work at the transfer center, is it that you want to work with transfer students, or would you be open to working to any part of the transfer identity? Because there are some specific offices on campus that also have a lot of transfer students and also hire. And so it could be like, okay, if I don't end up working at the transfer center, maybe I would consider applying to work for Triple CP or working as a mentor for AAP and helping people with academics. There's so many different opportunities that I think sometimes when people get too narrow, they can miss out on other things that might be even better. And that goes for student orgs as well as jobs. Did I miss anything again? Checking in.
I don't think so. I will say that like something that I remember like when I was coming in and like looking in all these things or whatever, I don't know. I don't think my CC never did this when the previous like schools ever went to did this, but then like most student organizations and clubs here have like interview processes and everything like that, right? So in order to like familiarize yourself with that like in advance and everything like that, that's what reaching out in advance also helps with too. So you're not like blindsided when they email you like being like, oh, we liked your application. choose an interview date, you know, and everything. And it's for like a club, like an actual, just like a regular club and everything. So that's definitely something like I would look into like in advance too, when you're looking into like organizations like Sexperts, which I've heard do like multiple rounds of interviews, and everything like that. In addition, I threw it in the chat, but then for the sake of the recording, I'll say it out loud. But a lot of student organizations also do recruiting throughout the year in multiple rounds. So like you'll find some like student orgs that are recruiting right now for the summer, and then they'll recruit again in the winter. And so like I wouldn't ever consider it to be like too late. I think if they're hiring now, maybe they'll have an internship program later. Is kind of like also another pattern that I've seen when it comes to getting involved on campus. And yeah.
That's a really good point. A lot of both jobs and orgs will have opportunities at multiple points a year, even potentially quarterly. Jobs are a little bit more hit and miss. It's more so like when do they need staff and where are they hiring? I will tell you right now, certain jobs are already hiring. They're looking to like attract folks right now so that they know who's on their staff when fall comes around. Not necessarily that people need to work through the summer, but they're like making offers for people to start in September. We'll get into more specifics about those ones in just a second, but know that like there are multiple opportunities. Next piece of advice is build a support system at UCLA, not only for your own well-being, but also it will help you find out about these opportunities. Like you never know, talking to a different person or someone you have class with, they'll just say like, oh, my lab, I'm using my PI, what's it called? Primary investigator, but your like lab lead might be like hiring a new lab assistant, and you find out through word of mouth, or this club is looking for a paid opportunity in it. You'll find out so much from other people, and especially when you align yourself with people you feel really comfortable with who are also involved, that's really when you kind of hit that like middle ground of like you're sharing opportunities with each other, you're tagging them in a post, but it's also going to make you feel like your best self on campus. And so some quick tips on how to build your support system. The Transfer Center specifically has a mentorship program, but we're definitely not the only ones that have a mentorship program. So I would say get a mentor. Our mentor app's open in June after people SIR. You could join a cultural organization, a religious organization, something that connects with a hobby or even a professional org. True story, I was in ballroom dance club in college. I made so many friends from like ballroom dancing that I would never have met in my major, but I was also in the Society of Conservation Biologists where I met people who were studying the same thing as me. And then my last one is build relationships with folks in your classes. I know that that's something you'll have to do more so when you're starting classes, but sometimes, although we all know group projects can be a little bit of a curse at times, they're also an opportunity to like build relationships with people who may be in your same major or have the same interests. And so you'll just sort of over time notice like who sits close to each other in class, and you'll sort of naturally become friends, or maybe like get to work with someone on a project. And those are also folks that can be a support system, because if they're in one of your classes, they're probably, especially if it's in your major, they're probably going to show up in another class in the future. And if you get along, you can plan that intentionally even. My last piece of advice is when you apply, be authentic. So many people think they have to say what they think that office is looking for, what they think that leadership role is looking for, but really people want to hear from you, who you are, what makes you unique and special, and what you're going to bring to that role. Those are the applications that pop the most. And so when you're really yourself and you really share like what makes you specifically interested in that role, that's when your application will stand out the most. So just be yourself, as cheesy as that might sound. It's really, you can tell like oftentimes that applications are just saying what they think the department wants to hear. And really most of the time people want to hire folks that are passionate, interested, enthusiastic, looking to learn, looking to grow. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be someone that is interested and willing to learn. So with that, I'm hoping that Abiha will share with us how she got involved on campus. And again, she's super involved, so it's a great example.
Thank you for gassing me up. I appreciate it. But basically, this is really the reason why I'm here specifically is because I went to this exact event last year. So like 1 year ago, probably like this week or something like that. I like hopped onto the Zoom call and everything like that. It was Sarah, and then it was like a couple other student leaders on campus and everything. Literally, it's full circle. It's like kind of crazy. But basically, I think as most people here can probably relate to, have never like not really been involved, right? You know, like at my community college, I was involved in everything. And so, you know, because usually you rely on your community. Exactly what Sarah said, like finding your community and everything like that also just comes with being involved as well. And so I was really excited. And so I showed up here and everything, and there was like a little survival guide, which I can drop right now too for y'all. It has like a lot of links to a lot of different organizations and everything, a lot of transfer specific organizations as well. And so there's cultural based transfer organizations, there's like pre-law and then pre-med transfer organizations on there as well. There's Chi Alpha Psi, which I'm pretty sure Sarah could talk about, right? Because that's you invented that, right? Yeah. There's like a lot of like co-ed fraternities and everything, and all that stuff. And so I remember like scrolling through that, and then that's how I found one of the USAC offices, TSR, which is the office of the transfer student representative. And so I was like involved in student government at CC. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me just like transfer it over and everything like that. And so from being a part of TSR, I was able to learn a lot more about what like transfer student needs were on campus, a lot of what transfer students do for the campus and everything, and especially the importance of us being in so many organizations and everything and having representation anywhere that we really like go and everything, especially like student jobs, clubs, like even if they're not transfer related, right? So like engineering clubs or like hackathons or other like identity based clubs and everything. It's so important that transfer students are there because we do provide that external perspective and that more like I think the word is like open-mindedness, I feel like. And we just kind of make the space a little bit more fun. I feel like in general, transfer students are a lot more fun too. And so I remember applying, and then that's how I got involved there. From there, I learned about like the Transfer Student Center, which is how like I got to work with Sarah more and everything, because now I like literally work with her. And then from there, I was able to like find the resources and how to get involved with research, which is something that I really wanted to do initially before coming to UCLA. And so like it all kind of like, Sarah used the right word for this when we were talking about this earlier, snowballed, because I joined one organization thinking I was going to like find my friends, which by the way, I did find amazing friends and everything. And a really good support system that has like basically kept me through like this entire year. And from there, I've been able to like snowball that into kind of really being able to get involved where I really wanted to be involved from the beginning of my time at UCLA. And in addition to that, I feel like I was able to like open my eyes and learn a lot more about a lot of other organizations that can help other people, which is also really important, because then you'll meet so many other people along the way who have like these like interesting personalities, or they have like certain interests and stuff like that, and then you can help guide them in that certain place and everything. And yeah, but yeah, so definitely like I would check that out. I would also, like what Sarah said earlier, follow a bunch of Instagram accounts, follow like a bunch of like pages on Facebook and everything. Like application seasons will like come and go, and like for this time being, when y'all are not on campus and you can't see like flyers hanging or people on Bruinwalk trying to hand you like their flyers and everything like that, what would really help y'all is being able to like follow these pages and then kind of like see the post pop up on your Instagram. I know that there's also like a Transfers 2024 like Instagram as well, where you can meet other transfer students who are transferring in and everything. And so that also might be helpful too if y'all are looking for like friends or like future roommates or anything like that. And I don't know if I'm missing anything, but yeah, I will pass it back to Sarah.
You are all good. So I'm going to move into sharing some very specific offices and organizations that have historically hired people or had amazing opportunities that happen over the summer. So in particular, I'm starting with our own office just out of pure selfishness. I'm just totally being honest. We get asked often, when do we hire? For the last 2 years, we have actually just done one round of hiring a year, and we open our applications in July. I'm intentionally being vague about July. I will say I think it's going to be mid-July. I'm sure if we're feeling rad, it might be earlier. But we have historically hired in July, and the reason we're choosing to hire in July is because we sincerely want to hire incoming transfer students. The incoming folks that we've hired the last couple of years in a row have been incredible, and we're so lucky to have them on our team and the perspective that they bring with them as a brand new student. And so we definitely want to hire some incoming transfer students. My second part is a caveat, not to deter you, but just to be honest, we tend to get a lot of applications. That sounds really like But because, transfers are excited to work with other transfers. And so it's always my least favorite day of the year probably is having to send the no letters. Honestly, I get like broken up about it. But because we only get to hire like 10-ish people each year. And so if you're interested in working at the Transfer Student Center and supporting current transfer students, we do hire in July with the intention to have folks in place by September. We usually have the post open for like 3 weeks, and then we do a round of interviewing, and then we make offers. So that whole process takes like a weirdly long amount of time, and it probably takes like 6 weeks, because we have to literally read every application. We really do read all of them. Thank you. The other thing about that is that if we see an opportunity to connect you to another opportunity on campus, like if your resume is like, wow, you would be so perfect for this other offer, we know that we don't have the space. We have also connected people to other offices to say like, you should hire this person, they're incredible. And so we definitely got some additional folks jobs last year by doing that. So very excited about that. So we will hire over the summer, be on the lookout in July. My gut is mid-July it will post and be open for about 3 weeks. It'll be on our website, it'll be on Facebook, it'll be on Instagram for sure. Triple CP is another very transfer specific opportunity. Are there any Triple CP scholars in the house? I know y'all are out there. Triple CP, yes, we love that. We love Triple CP. If you're someone that's interested in mentoring other community college students, outreaching to the community and helping people get to institutions like UCLA, Triple CP is a great place to work. They have such an incredible community. They have mentorship opportunities as well as paid positions where you can reach out to your local community colleges in like the LA area and help people navigate the transferring process. It's a great organization and they're very like external focused towards community colleges. Another one that comes up super fast, if anyone was at the Mingle, you may have met them there, which is Unicamp. And specifically Unicamp ATL. ATL stands for Accelerated Transfer Leadership. I think I got that right. Full disclosure, I'm terrible with acronyms. Sometimes I just make them up. I'm pretty sure I got that right though. So they have this program that happens in June, about middle June, where they do this like really amazing boot camp about leadership to enable you to go and be a summer camp counselor this summer with Uni Camp. And so Unicamp is one of the oldest like nonprofits at UCLA, and it's a summer camp for local kids. So Unicamp is just a really incredible opportunity, and they do run this program specifically for incoming transfers every year. And it's really much more of like a leadership experience opportunity and a way to build connections right from the very beginning. So totally recommend them. We've gone and presented to them in the past. They're really incredible. Their leadership is amazing. Love them. Next one is I have on record that the Career Center has held a couple of their career peer roles. Say that like 6 times fast. For the Career Center, you don't have to have any career advising experience. They will train you completely, and it is a paid position. So they hire folks called career peers that give peer-to-peer advice about the job preparation process, working on resumes, cover letters. You really want to have like the best job app game ever. Working for the Career Center is a pretty good way to get there. And so the Career Center will be hiring a couple more folks over the summer with the explicit intention of hiring incoming transfers. We love to see that because they told us, the Career Center did, that some of their very best team members have been transfers. And so they really want to create opportunities for incoming transfers to be on their team. So we love that. Another one is we work very closely with the Bruin Resource Center. The Bruin Resource Center serves a whole bunch of different like smaller micro communities that traditionally serve underrepresented folks at UCLA, people who have been traditionally underrepresented, not that they still are per se, but if you have any interest in working with folks who are undocumented, current or former foster youth, in recovery, parenting students, I know I'm missing a whole bunch of them. Those are some of the communities that they serve. They also have a program that works with high school age foster youth. So if you are someone who would be interested in working with high school students, maybe you're like interested in youth programs, nonprofits, teaching, that is a really great opportunity. They hired folks over summer/early fall last year. Another one is the Commuter Hub, which is a physical space on campus for commuting students. Has hired folks to help out in that space and also create programs and events for commuting students. I don't know their timeline, but they did hire some folks last summer, so that would be a good one to watch. I'm about halfway through my list, taking a deep breath. Anything to add on the ones I said before? Am I talking at light speed? Maybe.
Did you also mention like triple CP's like volunteers too? Because I think they recruit volunteers throughout the year, right?
Yes. So triple CP does have paid position, but they also have volunteer roles that mentor students or will like help out with a particular event. So that is a really great opportunity with triple CP. Okay, I'm going on my list. So far, everyone I've said, except for mentoring with triple CP and Uni Camp, are actually paid opportunities. The next one is also a paid opportunity, although it may not sound like one at first, which is the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Board. The EDI office at UCLA has a board of students that serve as like an advisory council, and they pay them in a stipend for like an annual participation. They put on some events and do some research about sort of like attitudes and how students are doing on campus. But if you're someone who's particularly interested in equity and inclusion kind of work, this is an amazing opportunity that they select over the summer. Traditionally, it's opened in July and had like an interview process because it is stipended. Stipended, that's a funny word, but they pay you is what I'm trying to say. Some other jobs that pay, I'll just say then out of the next ones, which ones pay and which ones are volunteer, just to be clear. The next one, and Abihav, please jump in if there's specifics, but the Transfer Student Representative's Office will have opportunities, some of which are stipended, some of which are volunteer. So depending on how much you want to be involved, they will hire over the summer.
Yes. So usually like on a regular year basis and everything, most USAC offices, so USAC is the Undergraduate Student Association Council, which is a fancy word for our student government here, has 15 offices, and each of the 15 offices for the past 2 years, so it's not guaranteed 100% every single year, but based off how much money like the student government has, like as a consensus, they're able to stipend their directors. And so every single offices, there's 15 of them once again, right? Not just the Transfer Student Representative's Office and everything, their director positions will usually get stipended a certain amount by the end of the year. However, staff positions usually do not get stipended and neither do interns. So if you're looking for the like more the stipended version, right, and everything like that, I would start looking now, because then usually executive board / like director hiring and everything like that happens right now. So there's a couple offices that are hiring right now. You can look through their Instagrams and everything. And then as like May probably ends and then June probably starts, is probably like around the time where the executive board hiring will usually end. And then after that, you'll probably see more like staff apps and all the other stuff. So if you're looking to get involved in the student government and you want to be in a stipended position, that's one way. Another way that I might just like include right now are academic senate appointments and appointments in general. So there's a couple, you'll see this as well, kind of like as the year goes on, you'll probably see it through the Office of the President's account, or the Academic Affairs Commissioner's account. But there's the Academic Senate at UCLA, which is kind of like a board of like faculty and students that work together in order to help UCLA like create policies and everything like that, and also like address certain issues that are going around on campus and everything. And so within there's a bunch of committees. So there's a committee on undergraduate like admissions and retention. There's a committee. We have a judicial board here and all that other stuff. And so those types of appointments are stipended, and they usually fill out the stipended positions first. So that is also something that I would get onto and everything like that. Like if you're interested in being on academic senate or having a different appointment, I would look into those too, because USAC and all of the offices and everything like that try to fill up the stipended positions before they are able to stipend the other ones. There's also a very big committee called University Committee on Disability. That one is also stipended, I believe, too. And so you can see more information about all of these as the year comes along. You'll probably see them if you follow the respective Instagram accounts. And yeah, sorry, I just went on a giant rant, but that's kind of just some of the more paid opportunities in student government, but then most of the other opportunities, unfortunately, are usually volunteer based / on your own time kind of.
Sorry, I'm trying to balance. I'm going to move back to just hosting and not answering questions for a second. So we're going to take questions at the end, which is the question I just got. So the other piece is, I do also see a question, just so you know, we're recording right now. We're going to be sharing this to YouTube. And then the other thing is, the reason we require registration for this is when some of these key positions open over the summer, we're also going to email you all just saying hey, FYI, this thing just opened. If you're interested, go for it. We will also share them broadly on social media, but since you signed up and, clearly have an interest in getting involved, we're going to be sending out, we did this last summer too. It was really helpful because we found that sometimes over the summer, people are not paying explosive attention, not in a bad way. You're you're living your life. And so we want to make sure that people don't miss out on opportunities that do come up quite quickly. So I've got a couple more really good ones. These ones are more student leadership focused. So the next one is what's called TLC, the Transfer Leadership Coalition. The Transfer Leadership Coalition is not a paid opportunity. It is a volunteer opportunity, but the Transfer Leadership Coalition is an org that is more a coalition of people who represent other orgs, and they get together a couple times per quarter, and they talk about issues that are going on in the transfer community and how they can collaborate to support the transfer community. They often meet with high-level administrators and will say, here's something going on, how can you support us? They've hosted town hall meetings. So it's very civically engaged. It's also about dialogue, community building. They work very closely with the Transfer Student Center and the Transfer Student Representatives Office traditionally. And they're just a really great way to get involved if you're someone who's kind of testing the waters and trying to decide what you want to get more involved with, because traditionally student orgs will send representatives to TLC. So it's a great way to meet people from different orgs if you're trying to decide what to get involved with. And they'll just start meeting in the fall. They do have an Instagram, but I would say that is one that will kick off more so in the fall. The next one is hall government. If you are someone who's going to be living on campus or in university apartments, all of them have hall government positions, some of which are compensated and some of which are compensated quite well, to be completely honest. For example, the building president and exec board folks get a stipend by quarter. I don't know what it is right now, but in the past, it's been several $100s, which isn't paid hourly. It is a lot of work. It's usually 2 meetings a week that are required commitments. But that hall government is a great way to get to plan events, to get to run meetings, meet a lot of people. They do a lot of leadership development and training for folks. And some of those positions they'll reach out over the summer. Those ones usually come out in August. So after they assign people, when you get your room assignments, usually the professional staff that run the building, they'll also get notified hey, room assignments are out. And then if they have any open hall government positions to fill, they'll email everyone who's living in the building and say, hey, this opportunity is open for your building if you want to apply or run for office. There's usually also some positions that are elected in the fall, usually in the first week or two after you move in. And then even further, if you just want a smaller volunteer opportunity, if you're living in the apartment buildings or on the Hill, which is the residence hall area at UCLA, each floor will have floor representatives that go to hall council once a week to represent the interests of their floor and vote on how money is spent in the building. They often make decisions around part of your living expense fees. So it's a good way to get involved and also to meet people. The other one that's connected to living on campus is move-in assistance. So if you are going to be living on campus, there's going to be a call out for people to move in early and help other people move in. I will tell you, it is a hard job, but it's also really fun and a great way to make friends. So you move in 4 or 5 days early. They feed you the whole time you're there. You get like a UCLA t-shirt, and then you literally help people move into their rooms. So the fun part about that is you like literally will meet so many people, like helping them like wheel a cart into their room. It's a great way to meet other people in your community and kind of like broaden your network, but it is also like a lot of work. I'm just being totally candid, but it's every time I've met the move-in assistants, I used to work on the Hill. They're all a lot of fun, and they also tend to get involved in other things. I've seen other people like hire move-in assistants to be office assistants in the past because they met them at move-in and they thought they were so cool. So it's a great way to meet both staff and other students. Research labs. If you are someone who is interested in getting into research, many research labs will have volunteer as well as paid positions. I would reach out to TAs or faculty members that you are in their class and see if they know of any research positions. There's also some really great research offices on campus that will post opportunities for both scholarships as well as positions. So definitely look into research opportunities on campus. Departmental, okay, I put this on the list, departmental advising. Certain departments, I have definitely met the history department, and I think the political science one and the School of Ed will have like a council of undergraduate students. They get together and like consult on different issues going on in the major. Some of those are stipended, some of them are volunteers, but it's a great way to get to meet people in your academic department, and some of them are paid positions. So if you get an email from your department saying, hey, we're looking for students to be on our student advisory board, pay close attention because some of those will be paid, and some of them will just include like perks, like when you have those meetings, they feed you lunch or something like that. But it's a good way to meet other people. And oftentimes the people who work with those boards are folks who can really help you out if you find yourself in like an academic advising crunch. It's nice to know those people, and it really can pay off over time. They make great letters of recommendation, things like that. Final one, pinky promise, is identity-based organization. So whether that is like a cultural identity, religious identity, there's lots of different orgs on campus, and some of them even have like stipended positions attached to them. I was sharing with Abiha right beforehand. I knew a student who was very involved in C-Clear a couple of years ago, and she's now on staff working with C-Clear, even like as an alumni. So I've seen it like result in like after UCLA jobs, as well as like student positions in like culturally based spaces. So definitely something worth looking into. Did I miss anything? Do you want to talk transfer survival guide?
I'd love to. I got a question about like getting involved in research and everything. It was like DM'd to me, but I kind of want to answer it like out loud if that's possible. So getting involved with research. So as you know, this is a research university. Literally, they shove research into like every single person's plate. Like if you are not already doing research and everything like that, right? Like whether it be through like one of the year-long contract programs, or whether it be like through the actual undergraduate research center, like research is quite literally embedded into like a lot of curriculums, like for classes and everything. Like people are doing research for like their classes and stuff. There's like multiple ways I would say that you can get involved with research. If you are looking to work one-on-one with a professor on their research, I would reach out to a professor that maybe you were taking the class of, just so that they know who you are kind of, and everything. Start going to office hours, you know, the entire, like really getting to know them, getting to know the research and everything. That way you're a better fit for when you ask them the question, like, hey, like, can I like help you on your research? Like, do you need any help or anything like that? That's one thing I would do. I've heard that cold emailing also works a lot too. Definitely cold emailing works, but at the same time, I would definitely like the professors here who are also researchers, or just researchers on campus in general, would rather work with people who are passionate about the subject matter that they are passionate about, right? So when you are cold emailing, right, I would do a little bit of research on the professor in the background, right? Find out what do they do on campus, right? If they are working for like IRLE, which is like the International Labor Relations and Labor Relations like department and everything at UCLA, right? What aspect of that are they working on? Are they working on like Jewish migration studies and everything like that? Are they working on something else, right? And then from there, form that like cold email from there. Because from an experience of one of my peers, just cold emailing being like, hey, do you have research opportunities that I can get involved with, won't always provide you the most fruitful of results. So I guess like the more time that you put in, the more that you'll get out, kind of is what I'm trying to say when it comes to working with professors on their research and everything. If you were looking towards getting involved in like your own type of research project, a lot of majors have a capstone or a research requirement as a part of their major. So I'm a political science and labor studies double major. For labor studies, the capstone courses are one of the requirements and has like kind of like a research component to it already. So you'll be getting involved with your own research project through that. But then for other majors such as political science, they have like a specific research program that you can apply to at the end of your junior year, that you can like get in from, and then from there you can perform your own research project, whatever it might be. This transitions to if you are wanting to get involved with your own research project and everything like that, and you want to get paid for it, or you want to make sure that like you're putting in this time and energy and some of it's going towards your tuition, right? There's a lot of really great 1 to 2 year programs that the Undergraduate Research Center, which there's one for STEM majors, and then there's one for humanities and social sciences, ERC sciences and ERC classes are how they're like colloquially called and everything. Each one of them have a bunch of different programs. So this past year I was involved with the undergraduate research fellowship program, which allowed me to kind of initiate a program that I'm transitioning into my honors thesis and everything. So definitely, like, if you want to get involved with research, there is no lack of opportunity here, is what I'm trying to say. If you aren't going to be able to do it like through one of the 1 to 2 year programs, which there's one called Mellon Mays, which stipends, I'm pretty sure their students $10,000, I think, every single year to work on a 2 year program. There's also another one called McNair, which is also very similar in its aspect. So you'll find that there's a lot of like kind of programs that have different levels of like holding your hand through the process, right? If you've never been involved with research before, like me personally, like I've done my silly little surveys and everything like that in the past, but I've never done like full blown research with like methodology and like IRB and all this other stuff, right? Words that like literally I had no idea existed a year ago. There's different levels of like research programs that can cater to your different research needs, but then definitely talking to your faculty, getting to know what their research is and all that other stuff will help you kind of like get your foot into the door when it comes to that. Sorry, I just like went on a huge rant about like research. If you need any other help or anything like that, definitely perusing the undergraduate research centers like websites and everything like that will definitely help you navigate through all the programs that I just named, and then additionally with other programs as well. In my opinion, it's very important that like if you are doing your own research project that you have the funding necessary to do so. And so I think the earlier that you're like kind of like looking into these programs and everything like that, you'll be able to see which ones give you a stipend, which ones give you like, you know, help with your tuition and everything like that. And then from there, maybe you can make like a better educated like decision on how you want to get involved with research at UCLA. But I wouldn't stress if you aren't already in the professor's like email and everything like that, do not worry about it. Like I literally got my mentor at like the end of fall quarter and I'm doing fine. Like everything's good. So don't sweat it. It's all vibes. You'll get involved research regardless of if like you're actively looking for it or not, kind of is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I hope that answers the question. And then the transfer survival guide, which is the link that Sarah just dropped into like the chat. This is a very large PDF. I can share my screen, but I'm pretty sure if y'all, because I know some people are on their phones, I think. But do you want me to share my screen?
Actually, no, because we talked about it a little bit before. But I think the bigger part is that TSR office, the transfer student reps office, listed out a whole bunch of different opportunities, involvements, as well as like their handles on Instagram. So it's a really good way to get like a broad overview. It's not an exhaustive list, but these are some opportunities or things we've seen some folks get involved with like right away. Are there any we didn't talk about that you want to highlight?
I think for transfer specific organizations, if anybody has it open on page 13, there's the student opportunity and mentorship program, STOMP. STOMP does a lot of really cool stuff at UCLA. Like, I don't know if they have necessarily paid or stipended positions, but they do a lot of work. Okay, Sarah's nodding, that means they probably do. There's also Student Veterans of America at UCLA. There's parenting students at UCLA. There's quite literally a community for like almost every single identity that you could possibly have at UCLA, just because we're such like a diverse school. And if you can't find, and also once again, if you can't find like an organization that really matches like the goal that you're trying to reach or has that interest or whatever that you're looking for, or specificity, I guess is a better word I'm looking for, you are always more than welcome to start a club. We literally have over 1,000 clubs on campus. So I would definitely look through all of them. I think there's literally a club that was made this past year called the Club Sampling Club, which is a club that samples other clubs. So like every single week, I'm pretty sure the club goes to other clubs to be a part of their club so that you can get a more holistic experience. It started and run by transfer students. So they are really all about making sure that they get the most out of their 2 years here. And so like, definitely I would look through all of those, especially when you want to get like involved in everything. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Something that's really cool is that you'll meet your new student advisors later this year in the summer. You'll meet them. They're like your orientation leaders. They'll basically hold your hand throughout the entire process of getting to know classes and all that other stuff. We would love a lot more transfer representation in new student advisory programs. So definitely, like if you're looking for, if you see a job that a student has on campus right now and they don't start hiring until the spring, I would keep that like on your list and everything like that too. UCLA also hires RAs. I'm telling you all this because I wish I knew that UCLA hired RAs in the winter, like over winter break and everything. But if you are looking into like being an RA or working, I think in housing or whatever, a lot of their applications go out in the winter, and they're open for like 2 weeks, I think, or something like that. So definitely, I hope that answers some more questions and everything. Yeah.
Thank you so much. With this, we're gonna stop recording and then we're gonna answer any questions y'all have in the house. Thank you so much for joining, by the way.